Hi, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the WynActive Webcast. Great to have you here again, and we had a couple of really interesting guests on this week, and another one today. Of course, we only bring you the best, and certainly today we've gone to the top, Lifesaving Victoria, but we'll introduce RJ in just a moment. First of all, the man himself, the man that all of Wyndham love. How are you, James Robertella?
Gosh, Barry, I thought you were talking about yourself then for a second, because you're.
No way.
It's brilliant to be here again, and again we're in the middle of the week. It's been a bit wet and windy, but yeah, glad to be indoors and joining you for another WynActive webcast. And we're in the we just finished the second week of our Find Your 30 challenges. So we're actually building up to the third and final challenge for everyone out there that has or hasn't joined in. So looking forward to that. But again, I'm also looking forward to our conversation with RJ from Lifesaving Victoria. Really keen to understand, what they've been doing as we thought during this lockdown. So yeah, without further ado, I'd like to welcome RJ Houston, the manager of pool safety at Lifesaving Victoria. Welcome, RJ, to the WynActive webcast.
Thanks, Hamish and Andy, for having me on the. Barry and James. Apologies. It's great. It's great to be on here with you guys and to speak to the residents of Wyndham and your members at Aquapulse and Werribee Outdoor Pool, as well as your Eagle Stadium. I know you guys do really good work in that community, so it's an honor to be on the show today with you guys.
Oh, look, thanks, RJ, and it's great to have you. I'm just wondering who's Hamish and who's Andy, but we won't go there. Hey, look, thank you again. It is good to have you, but you are part, and a very important part from our perspective, of Lifesaving Victoria. Can you tell us about Lifesaving Victoria? What does it do? And what sort of, who does it cover?
So Lifesaving Victoria is the peak body for water safety in Victoria, encompassing all waterways. So we look at ocean, rivers, lakes, dams, creeks, swimming pools, of course, both commercial and domestic. And of course, for your community, public swimming pools being a really key stakeholder group that we work with to try and bring about our vision and our mission, which is a Victorian community where we prevent aquatic-related death and injury. So essentially, we employ about 500 staff, mostly in operational education roles and training roles, and we have 37,000 members, volunteer members. So we work with communities, education institutions, government agencies, businesses in the broader aquatic industry to bring about that mission and vision as well. Yeah.
Wow, that's an extensive group of people that you've got not only employed at LSV, but also the reach that you have throughout Victoria is extensive, and I wasn't aware of that, RJ. So appreciate you providing that overview. As the manager of pool safety, I suppose the name suggests that you're working in the pool area, but what does your role sort of entail?
So I guess I'll talk about what we do with the aquatic industry and swimming pools. With regards to swimming pools, we provide advice, training, and resources, as well as public safety campaigns to assist swimming pool owners and operators in making their aquatic facilities as safe and welcoming as possible. So it's not just my area. There's a couple of other departments here. We've got a multicultural department that provide resources and employees actually in that area as well. I think we put about 40,000 call community through swim lessons in the aquatic industry every year, and then we train them up as lifeguards, and then we plant them with aquatic facilities. There's a number that have worked at Aquapulse over the journey. We've got our education team, obviously, who have a number of programs. The key one being Swim and Survive, which I believe a number of facilities, including yours, are Swim and Survive licensees. And Swim and Survive is a swim lesson curriculum that's based around swimming and water safety education for youngsters predominantly, and it's about fitting in with the national framework for swimming and water safety. And then in our team as well, we look after the public safety campaigns, Watch Around Water and Swim Safe. Aquapulse is the Watch Around Water facility of the year, I think 3 years in a row. It's the crown jewel in the Watch Around Water facility program. But we also we also work with facilities across the entire depth and breadth in providing advice around safety and compliance. And I guess where there are regulators in the space, you've got the health department and environmental health officers, who are like health inspectors, and then you've got WorkSafe, who are kind of like, if you're not familiar, their powers are very similar to police officers, but specific to workplaces, of which swimming pools are workplaces. And so they provide advice and guidance as well, but also can sort of be enforcers. We're not enforcers. Everything that we do is on a sort of voluntary basis with the industry, where the industry engage us to provide advice, and we're trying to help facility owners and operators avoid incidents before they happen, and understand exactly what standards do apply to them. There's a whole range of legislation and standards. So we've got 3 nerds in our team, myself being the head nerd, and we just dig through all of those various resources all the time and make sure that we update industry when there's an update to anything that applies to a swimming pool. And we try and provide services that assist with being compliant and being safe. So we're proud to accredit both Aquapulse and Werribee Outdoor Pool this year as platinum pools at Lifesaving Victoria, which means that they've gone through a series of accreditation processes and audit processes to evidence their compliance against safety standards. And it's quite a rigorous process, as you would know. It's taken a number of years to get through the hurdles to get there. So we're very proud to accredit both of your facilities in that program, which demonstrates a strong commitment to safety for the community of Wyndham in both of those facilities. So hats off to you guys, and congrats on that one. And then more generally, unfortunately, we also have to deal with the unfortunate side of things as well. That every now and then, every few years, unfortunate incidents happen. So our team go in and unfortunately have to sit through the coronial process and provide the coroner with recommendations. We assist Vic Police, we assist WorkSafe in those investigations as well, in terms of what standards apply, because we're the subject matter experts in that space.
I think that was a great summary, RJ. And James, I'm not sure whether you're aware, but Werribee Outdoor Pool was the first seasonal facility, I think I'm correct there, RJ,
yes, yep,
to receive Platinum Pool accreditation. So hats off to my team, to getting that was a real kudos for us and Wyndham City, of course. RJ, the COVID-19 crisis, we've all gone into lockdown. From your perspective, how have you seen it affecting the aquatics industry?
Well, look, we're all so heavily impacted by this crisis, and everyone's heard it on the news, and everyone's experiencing it in their own lives. It's gone from a health crisis to an economic crisis to now what's seeming like a mental health crisis. Even to sort of share a bit. Barry and I, before the show started, I'm over working from home. That's the conversation that we're having. So even some of us that are very lucky, very fortunate to be in positions where we are working. It's still brought a lot of challenges. And I'm lucky I don't have any kids, or unlucky depending on your point of view. But I know a lot of colleagues that are homeschooling as well, and it's a massive challenge. But I thought I might just throw out some cold hard facts, because I think that sort of speaks for itself. So there's 288 Victorian council-owned public pools in Victoria. There's 280 Victorian learn to swim or public access pools. So you're sort of out in Wyndham, you've got residential estates with a communal sort of rec centre in the middle of the estate. So that would be a public access pool. The value of sport and recreation to the Victorian economy is $8.5 billion every year. And so we've seen 30% of that wiped straight away, with ongoing impacts absolutely certain. We know from research across a range of research sources that the average Australian visits a public aquatic facility 4.5 times a year, and that insufficient physical activity is responsible for 5% of all death and disability in Australia. Every year in Australia, physical inactivity costs the health system $3.7 billion and leads to death and disability costing $48 billion. So that's on a yearly basis. A weekly visit to a pool is enough to take most people out of the physically inactive category, and I'll use inverted commas there. And the average aquatic facility creates $2.72 million a year in value to the community in preventative health. There are 70 million visits to Victorian aquatic facilities usually every year, which means we've had about 17.5 million visits that have not happened over this period. And each visit is typically worth, in terms of economic benefits, an average of $26 to the health system and to the community in preventative benefits. So every single visit, $26. So we've seen that times 17.5 million that hasn't happened in Victoria. So there's an enormous, we talk about the tail of the pandemic, there's the tail of the economic, there's the tail of the mental health, there's the tail of the preventative health that we've lost as well. In terms of social value, each centre provides, or a typical centre provides 26% benefit to mental health in the community. I'm not sure what the percentage relates to. I'm pulling this data from our research, and a 16.7% savings to the health system through preventative health, which is massive. 13.7% educational outcome improvements through the benefits of physical activity, and a range of benefits to preventing chronic diseases. So they also play a critical role in reducing drowning rates, but providing a safe and controlled aquatic environment as opposed to open waterways. The industry also employs over 50,000 Victorians, and it's key to supporting Australia's Olympic swimming track record and pedigree, which has promoted not just swimming, but physical activity in Australia on an international stage. So that's kind of that's the facts. It's pretty big, it's when we look at it all on a page, and we look at those stats, this will be the absolutely, and we already know this across everything, just the absolute biggest crisis. Obviously this industry has been the hardest hit. It will be the last industry to get back up and running to the same extent as previously, if ever. And it's been one of the worst hit from an economic perspective as well.
I suppose what you're saying, RJ, is that our pools are important community gatherings. They play an important role in education and that social element, and obviously being able to sustain jobs for those that are working at the facilities as well. So Barry, I suppose it's when people aren't able to go swim, it's not a good situation, is it? So I suppose we're sort of counting down the days now till Aquapulse and potentially wherever the outdoor pool in the summer months can reopen. But that is a significant impact.
It's a massive impact, and two things amazing facts and figures, but something that really struck home with me was already in the shutdown that just over 17 million visits haven't occurred. Now, that's 17 million times that people haven't been active, haven't learned how to swim, haven't undertaken rehabilitation, haven't trained for a swim meet or for their chosen sport. Each of those visits is worth $26. So I'm not sure what 17 million times $26 is. It's a lot of money as well, and that's just up to now. We don't know when we're fully going to come out of this. We know in Wyndham, Aquapulse will be opening in very limited capacity on the 22nd, but that's massive, isn't it, RJ? It really is.
Yeah, it's pretty sad, I think, and it's for every industry. It's not just our industry, but there's been a lot of very hardworking, well-intentioned people building an industry over a period of time that provides community value and community well-being, and people that work in this industry are very community-minded, and they want to help people, and they're obviously in some way sort of leaning towards physical activity themselves and the benefits from their own lives, and so they want to share that with their community, and I think what we sell people is it's not like being a no disrespect to anyone in the community, but we're not selling armaments to or some sort of unethical product here. The industry is effectively built around wellness and providing people with not just the physical health benefits, but the mental wellness benefits that come from being active and being plugged into a community as well. So I think there's a lot of people feeling that lack of community and exercise benefits. And going for a walk or a jog's fine, working in at home, but eventually that motivation and it tends to run dry. So I'm sure people, that having professionals to motivate you in the space and keep you engaged is something that people need in their lives. Absolutely, myself included. I've been absolutely shocking, if we're being honest.
RJ, as people begin to realise that these centres are going to start opening, I suppose the messaging is that they are opening in limited capacity, as you say, Barry. What are aquatic facilities, and we're talking general here. What are they sort of going to look like moving forward, and as we build up towards that normality, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, I think there's two schools of thought, really. And one is that pools they'll have a staged return, over the next couple of months, and then eventually, either there'll be, if you read the various papers and The Economist and the Harvard and all Business Review and all these articles, they'll say that the end goal is herd immunity, whether by vaccine or by it having moved through the community, which I'm not too keen on the latter, if I'm being honest. But so there's one school of thought that everyone will just get back to business as usual. And the Premier announced over the weekend or on Friday, I think it was, that they're seeing a lot more people using the roads and the transport system and everything else, and that's not really the goal at the moment. But there's still we still need to be mindful that that outbreaks can happen. There was the outbreak over the weekend from that primary school in Keilor, and it's still out there, and there will be a second wave. It's a reality. We'd be kidding ourselves if we tell ourselves otherwise. There's obviously a groundswell of people who are sick of working from home, sick of being isolated, all of these types of things, and for very good reasons, including all of the economic impacts. But let's get back to life as normal. Let's just accept it, get on with it. I can't take it anymore, and we've seen it in the States and whatever else. But I think that what's more likely is we're going to see a more structured and controlled approach to programming, and I think we need it. It's already happening. You book a lap lane for swimming. You book a private swim lesson. You book a treadmill. The other one that we'll see is an acceleration of the existing sort of, let's call it, de-stratification of the facility. Where you come in and you do everything in the center. That we'll see more things like yoga in the park being run by the personal trainer who works at the aquatic facility, but they're running programs out in the community where people can come to their local nature reserve or park and do a class. We'll see an acceleration of the existing movement towards mental health and wellness preventative programs such as guided meditation, mindfulness, etc. And I think facilities will need to try and find the solutions to some of these social and well-being problems and issues that are out there right now. So I think that'll be a real key, is targeting those issues. Fitness at home is here to stay. You're competing with Alexa and Siri and Netflix and etc. So that will be more and more reality, which was already on the horizon, but I think it's been driven in that direction. I think the really good news for public pools and for the aquatics side of things is that you can't go swim laps in your backyard pool, and you can't. You shouldn't really learn to swim per se in a backyard pool unless it's done in a very structured environment with a controlled and qualified, competent, instructor, and so on and so forth. But ideally, you'd be going to the safest place possible to learn to swim, which is a lifeguarded pool with competent and qualified teachers and good structures supporting that. Emergency management plans and resources, etc., around that risk management. So I think having a pool will get people to come back to pools. People will want to go back to pools, so having a pool is an advantage. and then hopefully getting them into the gym and water programming will flow on from that, because there's a lot of people who would just use a gym, who just, the reality is they're doing boot camp in the park. They're going for long walks and probably enjoying those walks. It's a little bit less intense. The PT is not yelling at you, but I think there's a lot of people out there who are going to want something, and a pool's a great way to get back into exercise. It's low impact. They're very clean, safe environments. We know that pools have been killing viruses for a very, very long time. Chlorine's very effective at what it does. Not that I'm a water scientist, but I know from the health department's research and messaging that the chlorine is very effective. So going to a facility that's well regulated, well managed, things like having an accreditation program in place that evidences that the pool is well managed, that it meets all the compliance requirements. I think these are key things that pools should be considering if they're not. And you guys are obviously well ahead of the curve, but the community want to know that it's safe. You want to know that it's safe. I know a lot of people are keen to get back, but then I'm actually apartment hunting myself in my personal life, and going to property inspections on the weekend and herding 15 people into an elevator, and you go, well, that's not allowed, you used to get nervous that someone, now you're nervous about people sneezing in an elevator. You used to be nervous about something else. So I think that's very real, though. You're nervous that someone's going to be sick, or that you're going to get sick. You'll pass it on to your loved ones. So the perception is very key. Having the right processes in place is very key, and then having some sort of evidence that external evidence that you meet those processes, I think, is going to help safeguard the public perception around what you do. So creating that perception piece, and creating community as well. How are you going to create community through when you've got less people in there? Shifting to more cult-like following or a tribe. Shifting programming into that space. Gone are the days of a lap it up club on the wall where you just get the lifeguard to sign off that you swum 50 laps. I mean, that's great. That's a good start, but you're going to have to do better than that, if you want to keep people coming back. So technology is going to be key in how we do this, and we've got to think beyond, MyZone and Zoom meetings and things like that. They're great starts. They're really good steps in the right direction, but we've got to get past that as well. And realize that people are going to want to buy into a lifestyle, not just a membership, and they want it to reflect primarily safety at this point in time, and then their values from there afterwards. So that's a bit of a rant, but you gave me my soapbox. I think that's where we're going to head. And you guys are really leaders in the space, so I'm really looking to you for guidance in that space more than anyone. So
I think RJ, you're exactly right in saying that safety has been elevated to new levels, and that safety of staff as well as safety of patrons and is going to be paramount for every organisation, as it should be, of course.
Yeah.
So time to move on. RJ, I just want to say, great stuff, mate, and I know LSV have just got a champion in yourself, so thanks for sharing all of that. But now it's about you, and now it's about being positive and really showing gratitude. And James and I do this with all of our guests, and we love it. We love it. So what are you grateful for today?
I think for me, it's there's two elements. There's friends and family, and then to be honest, it's my work as well. Life Saving Victoria as well, and I'm not just sort of towing the corporate line. I genuinely find a lot of purpose in what I do, and I think that the work that we do is really important. I think that for a long time, if we look at that 70 million visits a year, 5 years ago we were having, we had a drowning every year in a public pool. In our space, we haven't had one in 4 or 5 years. Knock on wood, that continues. There's still some work to be done in that space in terms of non-fatals. A lot of resusces and things like that, where lifeguards, pull someone out, and I think that's I'll use this soapbox again. It's a key message to people that you can swim in other environments, but if there's no lifeguard to fish you out afterwards, if things don't go well, you're taking a gamble. But lifeguards do incredible work, and I think that I'm very grateful to work on something that is positive. We've been hosting our own webinar series, as you know, Barry is coming on our series in a couple of weeks as well. And for me, I'm very lucky. I've got to interact with a lot of thought leaders in many respects, and I've learned a lot from them, and I've learned a lot that there's there's almost formulas. There's consistency among people that go and achieve a fair amount, and you can see the patterns, and you can hopefully apply those to your own life. So, and then obviously friends and family. Your friends and family, luckily, for some people anyways, the fortunate ones, they'll support you no matter what life throws at you, and you support them. If you don't have friends and family or who are like that, I'd strongly encourage everyone to go and find a community and support network that is supportive. There's a community for everyone. Go and find yours. And yeah, I guess for me, I'm just very grateful that I have a good community and purpose in sort of a reason to get out of bed every day.
James, thanks, RJ. James, what are you grateful for today?
Yeah, look, I'm potentially, I don't think he'll be listening, but I'm very grateful for the ability to go out and gather in small groups with friends. And tonight we're going out and surprising a mate for his birthday, and so I've organised it with his sister, and we'll go around. It's just a few of us to say g'day and happy birthday and connect, which we haven't been able to. So I'm very grateful for finally being able to step into that space and doing so responsibly. So grateful for I suppose all the hard work that everyone's doing out there in terms of social distancing and following the rules to allow these developments to come out. So hats off to everyone for that. And I suppose these centres now that are reopening is a real sign of all the good work and the hard work that people are putting out there within the community, the everyday people. And hats off to everyone for the work that you're doing and keep it up, because I think that's what we need, Barry. We need to keep following these social distancing protocols, and we'll begin to reap the rewards per se in those small little things. So grateful for the progress that it made, and it allows me to go catch up with a friend or two tonight. So what about yourself, Barry? What are you grateful for today?
Look, when you were talking, RJ, you got me thinking about a lot of different things, and I appreciate all your insights today. But one of the things that struck home to me just listening to you was how grateful I was that in this process, James, of starting up again, of preparing to start up on the 22nd, we've stood up a lot of people. So we stood down over 300 staff. That's not pleasant, trust me. And we're a bare bones minimum. We're absolute minimum staff, and still trying to keep things going as much as possible. We've brought back staff, and it's just great. It is just great to have different people, their passion, their enthusiasm. We've still got a lot to go, but I'm just grateful that we're now sort of on that other side of things where we're bringing staff back and engaging with them, and they're grateful to be back at work, and they love what they do. So I'm really grateful that as of on Monday, we've had staff coming back, and it was just, as I said, fabulous to see them there. Lovely to hear their stories, and they brought, once again, new ideas, new thoughts to this crisis, I suppose. So I'm really, really grateful for that. So
that's brilliant, and we look forward to seeing our lifeguards out there patrolling the pools. And as you said, RJ, they play an important role. And I think back to my time as a lifeguard, it's you play such an important role in the safety of people. And I look forward to the opportunity to getting back in the pool, and I'm sure other people are counting down those days as well till they can swim around. Isn't that right, Barry?
Absolutely, James. RJ, thanks very much for coming along and joining us today. some of the insights, some of the facts and figures, and your thinking. You're obviously a deep thinker about things. Has been fantastic. Have you got one last thought you'd like to leave us with? Like to leave all of the viewers with?
I think I don't want to be cliched about these things, but I think for everyone, you know, you don't have anything if you don't have your health, and for anyone that's, you know, been touched by this crisis or other health crises in their own lives, or, you know, whether it be, you know, even an accident or injury, you know, anyone that's gone through anything like that, it is so hard, both physically and psychologically, and for everyone around those people as well. So when we do, you know, get back to everything, I think, you know, it's so tempting, and I'm right there with everyone. Like, let's get back to sport. Let's get back to, you know, giving people hugs and everything. And you know, I saw some of my friends as well, James, on the weekend, and I just wanted to give them a hug, you know, like bad. And but we just can't yet, you know. And so it is a new normal. And if you don't have your health, you have nothing in life, and don't take it from somebody else either. So get back, get healthy, you know, get moving, but do it, you know, follow the rules at the facilities. They're doing that to keep everyone safe and healthy, and as well, you know, do it in your own life as well. Think about the people that you love, and think about, you know, how lucky you are to have your health if you have it, and you know, go and visit an ICU unit or anything like that, palliative care, and it will totally change your perspective on health. So very, very important to prioritize that, if that's my takeaway.
Fantastic stuff. That's a great parting thought from you, RJ. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, James, of course, as always. It's been a great, and like all of our guests, and I'm just keeping on saying this every time, we could have spoken for hours with you, RJ. We didn't even get to half the topics we were hoping to. So, yeah, thanks again. Look after yourself. I really appreciate it. And all the best for Lifesaving Victoria.
Thank you. And to you guys too, and to your community and your members at Wyndham. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. I'm sure you'll agree that it's been a really entertaining and insightful discussion with RJ Houston from Lifesaving Victoria. Look after yourself, look after each other, and of course, keep smiling.